I was really happy about an hour ago. I got a notice from my boss saying, "Yeah, we can't make the podcast recording." I'm like, "Good."
Can somebody hand me a little strawberry kiwi? Shit. The hand dryer in there.
Oh, that's
when you hear the hand dryer, just mute it. Just go mute. Or do this. We were doing a show here a couple of years ago, and they had that. They kept doing it. That was when we had the mics versus the headset. Right. This dude comes up, plugs in the Cold machine, starts trying to play Cold machine right over live. Thank you guys, appreciate it. We're gonna go live here in about 5 to 10 minutes. We got a really nice little crowd down here at Rhinehaus, so we'll see you in a little bit. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
It's like you go, boom, you get the thing caught in the head. It's like, Miami with a big man touchdown. Oh.
Just to let you know.
Sorry.
Just to let you know this microphone.
All right, I'll be quiet.
You're good. Todd? Thanks. I'm Brian. Nice to meet you, big guy. When we go on, you're probably going to, I think, take over for Adnan here. So, a couple notes. You'll need to really eat the mic when you talk. So, should be good. If your headphone levels get too loud, just take them down right here. Okay? It's like in Cincinnati. We float up.
Yeah. All right. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm keeping the mic hot for you guys so you can hear my entertaining comments.
I'll be right back. Do look a little bit like Rod with hair.
Hey guys, so we're going to go live in about 5 more minutes. I appreciate you guys being patient here. We got a really great crowd down here at Rhinehaus, so if you can come down later today, please do it. It's a great environment, but we will go live here in 5 minutes. I'm going to keep my mic hot just so you guys can hear me and make fun of things for later. So thanks.
Who else is on here, Brian?
That's us for right now. You can stand or sit. Hold my hand so I don't fall. Can't wait to see you, Alex.
DJ is here. Looking fancy as always.
Let me see my brother.
Unless he's in the bathroom.
Hey, everybody listening live. This is your host, Brian Weigel. We're going to light this candle here in about 2 minutes, just trying to get everybody settled in here with the show. It's a great crowd down here at Rhinehaus. Hope to see you guys down here this evening or afternoon. So it's a heck of a pretty cool event. We'll go live in about 90 seconds. Can you hear me, Adnan? You can't hear me? Oh, there we go. All right.
Nice to meet you.
Well, hello and welcome to the Rhinehaus Over the Rhine Block Party. This is Brian Weigel hosting the live edition of Cincinnati Soccer Talk. How we doing, y'all? Woo-wee. All right, guys. I think we have to start this the right way. Dos a cero. Dos a cero. Dos a cero. All right. All right. Well, hopefully the U.S. men's national team has a little bit more fun in TQL Stadium this evening. But we are very appreciative of everybody coming down to Rhinehaus for this great event. We got a lot of great sponsors, including Street Side Brewery out there, and we have our partners in Soirex helping bring us this great event. So thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. We have a great show planned for you guys, filled with a variety of topics, including about how much this means to the city. We talk about the teams, and then we bring in our friends from the American Outlaws a little bit later. So we appreciate your time. And, of course, again, special thanks to Rhinehaus. So joining me for segment one, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. PTO himself, Boston Razzle Dazzle Brazzle.
Thank you.
Boston, you ready for this big show today?
I am. I got my time slots mixed up. I thought this was the Taylor Swift Red release party at 3 o'clock, but I mean, I'll wing it.
All right. Well, if you guys know Boston and his exploits with U.S. Soccer, we need to make sure to put tracking on him because he will ghost us, I'm sure, throughout this day. From Stars and Stripes FC, Adnan Ilyas. How you doing, my man?
Hey, I'm doing well. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate you doing 2 CST shows this week. You were a great guest Monday night, and very glad to have you back here. And we have, I guess, we'll call him our U.S. soccer beat writer, Jeff Tebbets.
I guess you could call it something like that. Yeah. It's been a crash course more for the Mexican team, but yeah, I'm really excited for the U.S. Very,
very excited to have you. I heard you got to rub some elbows last night with Alexi lost and told him he had to go get some Skyline chili today.
Yeah, I think he took the advice as far as I know. I don't know if he had it for breakfast, lunch, or hangover medicine, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, if you're new to the scene in Cincinnati and want to try Skyline, I would definitely advise that you find a bathroom very soon afterward. All right, guys. Well, again, you can get in touch with us at feedback@cincinnatissoccertalk.com if you have any questions. If you're listening live, please feel free to comment on our chat. We got quite a bit of you guys tuning in today. And then as well, special thanks to our sponsor, Suero X. Rehydrate with the new Suero X. Zero sugar, 0 calories, power of 8 ions. Everybody in the crowd today, we have about 100, 120 free bottles of Suero X. So if you need to get hydrated, rehydrated, back in game shape, please come up, see us up here, see Rob Pierce.
We got it at the door, too.
We do have it at the door, too. Wonderful.
On your way out.
All right. So I think most of you guys know us at CST, but I want to get to know Adnan real quick. Adnan, tell everybody here how you kind of started covering the U.S. soccer team.
Yeah. So I've been doing this for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I started actually with an SB Nation site covering England. For 2014, I was with Three Lion Roar, which then died. I only really wanted to do it because I wanted to talk about Arsenal players. So no love for England. I'll put that on the record.
There you go.
There you go.
Saw there was an opening over in Stars and Stripes. Sent in an email. They responded. I did not see the email responding. They sent a second email saying, hey, we were looking for this time for an opinion writer. And then I saw the first email. And then I took it.
There you go. I think you're going to be in the box tonight. You and Jeff.
Yep.
So this should be exciting night here in TQL Stadium. So I think, all you guys here, live in the city of Cincinnati. I was born and bred here with my twin brother, Brad. I think you guys have been around the city the past week or so. What excitement have you guys experienced with this? So I'll start with you, Boston.
Absolutely. This is a huge game for Cincinnati. My first ever experience with the U.S. men's national team was in Columbus for a U.S.-Mexico game. And to have that match moved here in our city, first of all, FC Cincinnati wasn't even barely a glimmer at the time. So never did I think we'd have a stadium that was capable of hosting it or have this in our backyard. So to have it happen that fast and just become from nothing to something is really special. And I think TQL Stadium is going to will be the best venue this match has ever been hosted at.
And you guys have any comments on just what it means to you that it's here in the city?
I think it's a major step, I think, within the city. We've had the U.S. playing here before at Nippert Stadium. We're not going to mention what that result was because it didn't count. But we've also had the women's team here, so we've seen that the crowd gets up for it when the women's team comes into play, and even those don't really count for much as well. It's mostly just tours of the area. So to have something that finally gets points on the board, that whatever happens here matters in next year. So that excitement is there, but also it's exciting to see all of the people with the blue check marks coming here and saying, wow, this is what Cincinnati chili is all about. I think there have been some strong opinions about that online, and I'll leave that alone for right now. I have my own as well.
You want to Sorry. You want to see what big deal this match is to the city? Just look at the ticket prices. Like, Cincinnatians have hogged those tickets, and now anyone else that wants to get into this city is paying through the nose just to see them.
I thought it was pretty cool last night going to the night before party down at the pitch and just seeing. I mean, normally when I go to the pitch before an FC Cincinnati game, I know half the people there, and then just kind of walking in that environment, and it's so many new people and so many people experiencing the city and the stadium. I have my best friend flew in from Philly, and he drives up to that. We drive to that stadium, and he's like, "Holy moly, this is something different." And that's kind of what I took away from being in the city versus going to several games up in Columbus. It feels a little different. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on the city, but I think it has a real big game feel to this. Adnan?
For me, there's a Facebook page somewhere where 10 years ago I said Cincinnati could be a huge MLS city. And to see, 10 years later, we've got the biggest match in the continent. just downtown, right here on our front door here in
in
Rhinehaus.
the middle of Ohio. Yeah,
And it's a testament to just like what the city is, how far it's come, and how much belief it has in itself.
and we'll talk to the guys at the American Outlaws a little bit later in the show. But I think it's important, and I know this kind of might pain some of you a little bit, but I think we do need to give props to the city of Columbus, the city of the Columbus, the fans of the Columbus Crew, because they kind of laid, to me, the groundwork for how this game needs to be executed. And I think, now we took that game plan and hopefully took it up another level. But I do think, Columbus Crew Stadium setting that flag of what we can do here in the Midwest is pretty important.
Yeah, it was also important to see them, taking that flag and even having it for the Costa Rica game.
Yeah.
To be down 1-0 that early, even before the TIFO got furled back up, to have the team sort of come back after that, and the crowd sort of not losing their faith in it, especially when Darcy Zardes came out, and the crowd sort of really pumped up for that. It would be interesting to see in future. I mean, who knows when, but I know next 4 years we're not going to really have any qualification games to talk about.
Yeah.
So this is going to be it could be a once in a lifetime thing here, being here at Cincinnati and having it matter this much.
Has there been any nervousness to you guys as Cincinnatians that this game's here? And I know we've had our issues with TQL Stadium and the troubles there with the FC Cincinnati, but you guys nervous at all?
Oh yeah, definitely have a nervous edge. I think U.S. scoring early would help offset that edge. This is to me, because this is a big deal for Cincinnati, and if they want those next series of games, I think winning here is, and that's kind of what I'm looking at, that more forward nervousness. But also, this is a big match, and U.S. needs all the points they can get going into the home stretch.
I think Roosevelt broke that curse.
Yes, the queen. No, you were talking about how important it is for the group. I think I brought this up maybe on Monday night's show, but what's the more important game? Okay, if we lose to Mexico, yeah, it's disappointing, but it doesn't really break our qualifying. But if we lose to Jamaica next week, that could really hurt the qualifying. What do you guys think about that? Is this still the rivalry, or what? What's more important to you as a fan?
I want to win every game.
Yeah, there you go.
I want to win every game. And for me, it's, you take it one game at a time. If we beat Mexico, we can go to Kingston and get a draw. I'm not going to be too fussed. We lose to Mexico and then we lose to Jamaica. Okay, I'm hesitant about making calls and stuff, but fire Greg Berhalter.
It's really unique how, the World Cup qualifiers could do that to a coaching staff. How you could be on top of the world. And let's say that Tata's team loses to us, and then they go up to Canada and they lose. He might be out of a job by the time the next window opens up. So it's definitely pressure on everybody, but you always have to treat this game as the game in focus. You can't look forward to whoever is the second game in the window.
100%. This is the game of the American games.
Yep.
The home slate. So you focus on this one, and you go for that win, and you do everything you can to get it. And then Jamaica will be Jamaica. We'll figure it out later.
I loved it how you said this is our game. Like people coming in from Maui, AO Maui coming to this game, and a bunch of the guys from Bethlehem and Philly that we got to meet, Central Jersey, and a lot of people around the country that are coming to this event. So it's incredible. I mean, it's still here and it's here tonight. So I'll tell you what. I want to go over a real quick setting the stage before we talk about Mexico and the U.S. a minute here. But the CONCACAF standings, right now you have Mexico at 14 points, the USA with 11. Is it 13, 11? Canada at 10, Panama at 8, Costa Rica at 6, Jamaica and El Salvador at 5, and Honduras at 3. Do any of those, point totals through the first 6 matches, does any of those stand out to you? Like, are you worried that we're below Mexico, or do you care that only we're in the top 3?
Nah, for me, it's top 3.
Yeah.
That's about it. And there's a lot of games left to play.
Yeah.
We beat Mexico here. This is the last game for the first half. We're tied at the top.
Yep.
And that's fine. Last couple times we went to Azteca, we got a draw. there's hard. I don't want to sugarcoat it. There's a lot of hard fixtures up ahead. But if we're second or we're tied for first, I think we're in a good position coming out of this window. The more surprising things are, lower down on the chart for me, like Jamaica not doing well. I'd be a little worried. If we can beat Jamaica, great. But if Jamaica can kind of get a step after this window, they might press be a little harder to beat for some other teams. So getting them out of the way early would be nice for us.
I'm a little nervous that we still have to go down to Azteca. We still have to go to Canada and Costa Rica.
Mhm.
As far as the fixture goes, Canada's playing better than I expected. And so that's the one where it gives me a little bit of pause as far as USA needs to step it up. But they've got games that they can solidify their position before they ever really have to worry about Canada.
I think Canada might have even laid the groundwork a little bit on seeing a result through versus Mexico. Attacking them with pace. Davies and Jonathan David and all those guys. I think you're going to see a lot more of that run and gun style running at Mexico tonight. So they've definitely impressed. Panama, I thought they were down and out. Then they take 3 from the U.S. So can't have any more, I think, hiccup games. Would you say that's fair? If we have maybe one hiccup game left?
It's going to depend on what the hiccup game is. If you call this one being the hiccup game, it won't hurt as much. Even if, let's say, you get the win here and then have a hiccup in Canada, once again, it's probably not going to hurt as much as if you go on the road to Jamaica or to Costa Rica and have that hiccup.
Yeah.
Or dare we say it, even draw at home against some of these
lower teams.
Yeah. But the thing that I see at the table, and the 3 teams that I think we expected to be at the top are justifiably at the top. You take a look at their goal differentials. All 3 of them up the top, Canada, Mexico, and us, we all are positive and very high in the positive direction, while all the other teams are trying to scramble more for goals. It's kind of surprising to see a team like El Salvador give teams a run for their money, but only have scored 2 goals the entire octagonal so far.
Well, before we transition to segment 2 and bring Jeremy Lance on here, Boston, do you have any, final thoughts or any additional comments?
Just go USA, and I'm pretty pumped for this game. I hope everybody has a blast. This is one of the best days of the year, in my opinion. So just enjoy it. Keep going from noon all the way till 9 p.m. and then party in TQL Stadium. But whatever you do, find a way to make it last. If you go too hard too early, you're going to end up in a gutter where you might find me.
Where the FC Cincinnati season is, right?
Oh, boy.
No, I'm joking. All right. Well, everybody, please give a big shout out to Boston Razzle Dazzle Brazzle and give him a beer or something. Guy has to go back to work. So, no, we'll be bringing on Jeremy Lance here in a second. But, guys, if you haven't yet, please go outside. We have Taqueria Las Canados selling, I think, quesadillas and tacos. We got Streetside Brewery offering 4 different beverages out there. You got Sunset Mindset and Juicy in cans. And then you have their Little Balls of Blue. That's the coolest name ever. A blueberry sour on draft. And then Who's a Good Beer? Their pale ale. So go check those out if you can. So I am going to be bringing on one of, I guess I call him kind of one of the godfathers of Cincinnati soccer. Back in the days working for the Cincinnati Saints.
Who are you talking? Are you talking about me?
Yeah, you and your partner over there. You and your partner over there. I think, coming full circle on this, and I'm so blessed to have Jeremy and DJ. Back, I think it was 2012, these gentlemen put on one hell of a show down in for the
2014.
2014. Down, sorry, that is it. Down in Fountain Square to watch the World Cup, and these guys have done so much activation for the culture of soccer in this city. So I'd like to give a round of applause to Jeremy and DJ, if you can, for all they've done, and they're going to be a big part of CST and hopefully what we do going forward. So turn the page here. The U.S. roster, guys. I think we've had a lot of reports out there with who's starting, who's been in camp.
Twitter is aflame right now.
Twitter is aflame. My friend Joe was saying it's almost toxic with some of the things that have who got called up or who didn't. But I guess the number one thing that's come out this week is Christian Pulisic's not going to start. I guess I'll start off with you, Jeremy. What do you make of that news? And it's surprising.
It's somewhat expected. So, with Chelsea, he's just coming back from injury. He has played, 16 minutes in the Champions League, last week, 5 minutes in the Premier League. So he's just coming back. So the thought that he was going to come and start and possibly go, an hour, even go the distance, just didn't make sense. So honestly, I like it. We were talking, DJ and I were talking about this week. If you could only have him for one half of the match, I'd rather have him in the second half. I'd rather have that ability to bring him off the bench when Mexico's running a little tired and just let him run.
I think that's kind of been the game plan a little bit this year.
I think so, yeah.
Wearing down teams and then bring them on. The man, the myth, the legend, Christian Pulisic, our hopes and dreams down at Chelsea. I mean,
that's a very brittle body that we're putting our hopes and dreams on.
That is. Adnan, does it worry you that we're not going to see a fully fit, sharp Pulisic in such an important game?
Well, we already beat Mexico without him, right? So
that's true in the Gold Cup.
Yeah, Pulisic, I think when he's healthy and when he's on form, he's the best player undoubtedly for the national team. But without him, I think the team still functions.
Yeah.
And the nice thing though is, in the Nations League final, who was it who came on? Tecatito, I think.
Yep.
And he just tore up Tim Ream.
That'll happen to Tim Ream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ream put up with a good fight here, but Mexico is now going to face that exact scenario with Pulisic. He can come on, he can tear out somebody, and let's see what happens. They're missing a bunch of really good or really important defensive players from injury or from suspensions. So, maybe he gets some space.
I guess that kind of paves the way a little bit here for Brendan Aronson potentially starting on that wing, or I guess Paul Arriola or somebody else. But what do you make of the backups in that scenario?
I like the backup situation. I think Aronson has really shown his ability to grow. He's done really well over in Europe the past few months. And just, if this was 2 years ago where Pulisic went down, I would be probably in shambles right now. I wouldn't be giving ourselves really that much of a shot. But with Aronson's, I think, quick maturity, it really feels like, we have someone who we could start in place of Pulisic, or the other way around. If Christian goes down in a game, that we have Aronson coming on. I was torn on whether or not you want to start him. I think if this was a situation where you'd only get 3 subs, I would risk starting him just so that if he did go down, you'd have a replacement who can come on for 60 minutes maybe. Now you've got a situation where if he comes in as a sub and goes down, you have those extra 2 subs that you can worry about. If it was 3, I would be like, if he goes down, we're wasting 2 subs on someone who's not playing anymore. So I think it's wise for now. I hope that he can give us his horses for 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, he's had a storied history in Ohio too. I mean, he had his debut in versus Guatemala and Columbus. So hopefully he can bring a little magic to Ohio. So another controversial topic is the starting goalkeeper role. It appears Zach Steffen's going to be starting. What do you guys make of that? Is that your preference, Adnan? Who did you want to see in the pipes?
I actually kind of like Steffen, but I think really he's Berhalter's guy, and I think that we're seeing that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you move your mic a little closer to your mouth.
There we go.
Thank you. Now, Jeremy, with Steffen coming in, okay, he's a guy who plays a little bit more with his feet than, I guess. I'm not saying that Turner can't play with his feet,
Right.
but I think that affects the style of how we're going to play.
Right. Keep it that plays out with his feet. You can play it out the back a little bit more, which I think Berhalter's always kind of looked to do. I like the Steffen move. I think that's nobody really that's been a part of this keeper core right now has lost the right to play. No one's had a stinker in a while.
Yeah.
And the matches that have not gone well for the team, it's not been on the keeper. So I don't know. For me, I think Steffen's the great pick there because he's probably faced some tougher stuff than Turner has.
And he's playing too. And he's played a little bit.
Yeah.
Man said
I mean, and that's the one knock that everyone's going to go with. He's not the number 1 at City, so he's not playing consistently. But yeah, I still think Steffen is the pick I would have made.
Okay. Controversial move was no John Brooks.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because he's the veteran presence, right?
Yeah. So I guess when I was thinking how this lineup would come out with kind of going from the back with Steffen playing with his feet, do we think that guys like it's going to be Walker Zimmerman and Miles Robinson, or do we think it could be another option with the center backs?
I think you lock Miles Robinson in.
Mhm.
He's shown himself to be possibly even the defender of the year in MLS
Sure.
this year. I think if he's not playing the back line, Atlanta doesn't make the playoffs. So I think you lock him in. The other spot, Chris Richards or Zimmerman, that's a tough call. I'm not saying that McKenzie's a bad pick, but we've seen what happened when he played in the back against Mexico.
Sure.
He sort of had the yips back there. I would like to see Zimmerman back there just because I feel Zimmerman has a little bit more of a physical presence, and he can definitely put up a little bit of speed if he needs it as well. I mean, he's defender of the year if I recall.
It has been, or at least that close
Right.
to that level.
And so if you got 2 defenders of the year or possibly 2 defenders of the year back there, I think you've got a nice curtain that you can keep out Mexico's top 3 out of.
Yeah.
And Miles has already had a good week here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Miles Robinson, for everybody who's out of town, scored the equalizer on Sunday.
it was his first MLS goal, right?
Was it really?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, rising header to knock that game up. And we just won't talk much more about that game
Yeah,
because it
it's a
only
blur
leads
after
to
that.
disappointment. And,
The good thing about that, though, is that because he played on Sunday, he doesn't have to travel that much.
Yeah.
He just goes up. He was the first guy to arrive at practice because he was right there in the city.
I'll tell you what, the move of these back in these, the center back pairing, the move that intrigues me is Chris Richards, because he's a guy who's very competent with his feet. He's got some pace. The front 3 of Mexico is where it's at. I mean, that's their bread and butter in that team. So I'm interested. I mean, I think it's not a bad pick either way.
These young guys eventually have to
Yeah.
be pushed into these roles, right?
Yep.
They eventually have to face these really tough battles.
Berhalter has been willing to actually, throw them in.
Yep.
We saw with against Honduras, Pepe came on. We're going to see Musa or Busio or someone come on at some point in this game. It's, he's willing to play them. Maybe we'll see Richards.
The fact that you also have Joe Scally coming up for possibly his first game ever with the team, that tells you the trust that he has in his youth, that they've all been performing exceptionally well in some cases for their club in Europe. And we're starting to see that impact that having the youth play in these big roles in Europe is paying off for country.
Well, I mean, okay, so you're probably going to do, Anthony Robinson on the left, and then on the right side you have one of Yedlin, Reggie Cannon, or Joe Scally.
Mhm, mhm.
Is it too much to throw both Richards and Scally in?
I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah.
I would like to see Cannon in there just because he's faced Mexico before, if I recall, to have somebody on that edge. And either way, if you're going to start someone, it's either him or Scally, and then you bring on Yedlin for a little bit more of the presence at the end.
Personally, I think we're going to see Zimmerman,
Yeah.
and I'm 50-50 on Scally. I think he might start.
when I looked at the roster originally, I thought for sure DeAndre Yedlin. I know Brad Weigel would be very upset if his favorite player didn't play. But, again, it's not bad. Of course, we're missing Serginho Dest, who's a game changer.
Right.
And I think, any of the other 3 options, it's going to look a little different. You don't have the playmaking ability coming out of the back as much with Serginho Dest. So,
Well, yeah, you talk about you're missing him, you're missing Gio Reyna, and then kind of the other big thing about this roster is you just have Pepe.
yep. Just
Like
Pepe.
that's your striker option. I think that's the one. If I'm scared about anything, that's what I'm scared about. Is just that if that doesn't work, if he's kind of iced out, who you bringing in? What changes are you making?
Yeah, Jesus Ferrer is your only other quote-unquote forward, and I guess a Tim Way who's never played.
He's played a little bit, I believe, in the middle, but not at this type of level. I feel confident. Pepe is the hot hand. You roll with that.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've got only 2 games instead of 3, you can roll Pepe up both times.
Yeah.
The good thing about it is that you're going to be stacking a lot of speed up there. And Mexico's got, I'm not going to say that they are ancient or, weak in the knees, but they've got a lot of people over 30 on that roster. You need some speed to penetrate those, the last line of defense there.
I think with the U.S., I think they live and die by the midfield.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where we see that age kick in. You go and you look at the U.S., we've got McKennie, we've got probably Musa, we've got Adams, 22, 23. Musa's 19? And on the flip side, who are we going to see on Mexico?
We're gonna see Guardado,
Probably
Hector
Hector
Herrera.
and Alvarez.
Herrera and his new face.
How old is Guardado? He's like 38, 35 for Herrera, I think, or
I think it was the Scuffed podcast or John Ronald. One of those guys were saying that Guardado's coming up on Marquez's appearance record.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he's been there forever.
Okay, so the midfield now. You said Musa, likely, McKennie, and Adams. I mean, they're on yellow card suspension, or one more for McKennie or Adams. They get suspended for Jamaica. Do they take? I mean, as a mindset, do you think they think about that, or they're just going to
Pedal to the floor.
Yeah, it's a street fight.
Yeah.
In this game.
Those two players just elevate this team so much. Like we saw it with the Nations League final. Adams came on, and just the whole team plays literally higher up the field.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And you're missing maybe Jamaica. Like you take that.
Yeah, I think looking at the two, I think I would feel all right if you were to say one of them has to get the yellow card. Let's say there was a real close tackle and one, gives themselves up for the card. I would rather see McKennie give up the card just so that we have Adams. He is our keystone. I think we've seen that in the past where when you don't have Adams out there, you just don't have as cohesive a midfield unit. I mean, if we're looking to get a guaranteed win in Jamaica, let's say perish the thought we do lose today, and we need to get at least
Let's do perish that thought.
yeah. But you're going to need some leadership for the Jamaica game. I would rather see McKennie sort of take a break and swallow the yellow card if he has to.
Kellen Acosta is the backup 6, and I think he did well versus Mexico. But yes, he's not Tyler Adams. All right, are you guys coming down to the end of the U.S. breakdown? Are you guys nervous about the lack of experience in this group going into this game? You had Pulisic and Yedlin are the only two players that played in that 2016 loss in historic Crew Stadium, and then Pulisic, Yedlin, Areola, and Kellen Acosta in the last World Cup qualifying draw to Mexico in Azteca. I mean, does that make you a little nervous? That's such a big stage. I know a lot of these guys played in the summer, but
You just mentioned the experience goes back to a loss and a draw. So the fact that we have younger guys that can come in and don't have that dirt on them, I'm good with that.
Be a goldfish, Sam. Be a goldfish.
That's right.
They don't know any better yet. So, yeah, it scares me a little bit, especially without Pulisic on the field. But I mean, Weston McKennie, if he can show us the leadership that he had,
has to
in that Nations League game
Yeah.
and really run the midfield too. It's important.
If anything, I think Mexico should be a little nervous about bringing their youth out into the field. That they've got the experience out there, and they're missing some vital names. And one of them is Diego Lainez.
Yeah.
When he scored that second goal against us in the Nations League, he's missing this game. They didn't call him up.
Yeah, he's hurt. He got hurt in the Olympics, and he's still coming back from that.
And so the fact that their experienced and trusted youth are not with them right now, and let's say one of their players has to take a breath, it has to come out. You're replacing them with untested youth, and we'll see if our tested youth can step up to that.
With the U.S., we've seen over the last year that this is so much a second half team that age difference can really kick in. If you don't have the legs, you don't have that youth. This U.S., I've called the midfield a paper shredder before, wood chipper. They're going to get shredded after 60, 70 minutes, and we're going to get opportunities.
Mm-hmm. What's your guys' confidence with Greg Berhalter, the coach, in this game? And he's shown he can beat Tata.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not a Greg hater, so I feel good. Good.
I think Tata's shown that he can beat Tata. He can beat himself. The fact that they had opportunities to go to penalty kicks in both of these previous two games, and they let it go at the end in extra time. That usually the two teams are playing very neutral ball in that extra 30-minute period, and the fact that both wins came from extra time sort of tells you that he doesn't have that last level, and that he sort of, I think, beats himself with the selection down the stretch.
One of the things for me, I've looked at all three of the competitive games since we played against Mexico since Berhalter came on, and they are shockingly similar, down to the names that we've had and the roles and stuff. So that went from a 1-0 loss to a 3-2 victory in extra time to a 1-0 victory in extra time. This is a team that has figured out how to do it. It's got a game plan. They went from, okay, yeah, we have a game plan. Berhalter's got a game plan, to now we're executing that game plan. And now they know it. The real question for me is, okay, can Martino adapt? Can he do something? And I'm not sure he can in the circumstances with the players he has.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Mexico then. What kind of group did he bring in to this camp, to this qualifier? I know we've talked a lot about the forward group and the midfield group. I mean, is this a seasoned group? Is it a young group?
I mean, Jimenez is back.
Yeah.
Big striker for Wolves right now.
Yeah, you got
Yeah,
Jimenez.
He's
and
in form.
Chucky,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Chucky
playing well.
Lozano.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of their big names. I mean, if you want to say what we're missing some of our big names. They have pretty much all of them right now.
At least in attack. In defense,
Right.
they're a little thin.
So we're talking about the midfield in the I guess the elder statesmen of Andres Guardado, Hector Herrera, and Ajax star Edson Alvarez. When you're looking at that group, I mean, I got to think that is an advantage for us, even though they're seasoned and they can pass, they can do a lot of things. If we can get the ball and run at them and get them tired through 60, I think that has to play well.
I think we here at FC Cincinnati have seen what happens when we have an older midfield trying to go against the younger midfield.
My buddies in Philly were telling me how they always used to call it the Harris Medina point defense. You go there, and not running.
And while I think Mexico is a little bit more experienced, that they don't have to resort to pointing and instructing people both behind and in front, you're going to see the paper shredder situation where they're going to have to take some breaths. It's going to get cold out there too. Let's not discount the weather tonight. It's going to get closer to 40 degrees, I think, when they're in with raw weather. I think it's going to be a little bit of rain.
Yeah, possible rain turning into other stuff.
And as much as this isn't going to be a snow classico, this is going to affect weaker knees. This is going to affect people that have run a lot.
Yeah, my knees will feel it.
Yeah,
just in the cold, definitely.
So do you guys think who has going into an important match? Would you rather have the seasoned veterans that Mexico has, or would you have the younger legs the up and coming McKennie, Adams, and Musa?
I think the good thing about this is that you can opt for both. We have experience on the bench. If the MMA midfield is not working, then we have Sebastian Lletget. We have Acosta. We've got people on the bench that are wiser and know more about what Mexico is going to do. I hope we don't have to go in that direction, because I really think you keep the youth out there and they're going to be able to burn all this extra energy.
Yeah.
Mexico is a little bit more in transition than we are, right? We've turned that page. We're on to that new generation. They're still in the process.
Yeah.
For me, Father Time works one way. That youth becomes those experienced, elder guard.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of pick one. It's a matter of you pick the younger one because you're gonna get both.
Yeah. Now we were talking about their front three is incredible. You're going to have Raul Jimenez, Chucky Lozano, and Tecatito most likely starting in the front three. Your midfield solid but old. But now you look at that defense. You have Cesar Monte is out. You got Araujo suspended, and now apparently Hector Moreno might not play in this match. So, I mean, they're really having to go down the well in their defense.
I think missing out on Hector Moreno is just really huge.
Yeah.
You can see at times, like that 3-0 loss. I think it was Hector Moreno. He gets on the ball, he steps up, and there's just a frame where it's almost the entire Mexican team is behind the midfield line or in line with the defense. And he sees it and knows exactly where to put the ball.
Yeah.
And not having that distribution and that vision, I think, really hurts them.
I mean, any little thing that our young attack can take advantage of. I mean, you have a scrappy Ricardo Pepi who moves and is going to pull those guys out of position. And if they're not cohesive, I mean, that could be a big story and a big scoreline for Team USA tonight.
I'm not making any predictions about score lines, but
those are Sarah all the way.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, if you can get the timing right and you can start busting people on the quarters and then getting it so that the defense takes their eyes off Pepi for just a split second. We've seen how Pepi can score pretty quickly off of a cross.
Yeah.
So if we can weaken the sides that way, and then take advantage of an inexperienced core in the center backs, I think we've got that opportunity.
Now, Adnan, real quick, if you haven't watched this Mexico group, what should we expect out of Jimenez, Chucky Lozano, and Tecatito?
So what we've seen from again when they play against the U.S., they are going to try and weave through and find whatever little hole they can through that back line through where Tyler Adams is. The question for the U.S. is, can they keep solid in the middle and force them out wide? You can't force them not to have chances or not to have space. They're going to take it because they're good. The question is, can you manage it? And if you can manage it successfully, you can keep us scoreless. You can keep them scoreless. And we've seen that.
A little luck too, like Funes Mori, he found himself
sure.
in some good spots in the Gold Cup and couldn't execute. So it definitely interesting to see who's the player on Mexico tonight that has to have a good game for them to have a chance to take points here in TQL.
They got to score.
They got to score. So I got to say, feels like Jimenez.
Yeah.
He's coming back from injury, and this is his time to shine.
I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to have to be one of those center backs.
That's a good point.
Ochoa can only do so much. We've seen that we can penetrate and get the ball past Ochoa, but as much of I would rank Ochoa a little higher than our goalkeeper choices. But if we can somehow rattle the center backs, then I think we've got this game. If one of them plays out of their head, then you're going to probably see the script flipped.
As much as we like to talk about like Horvath keeping the U.S. in for the Nations League final, Ochoa did like the same for Mexico.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, before we turn it over to our next segment here, guys, who is the player on the United States team that has to have the game? I mean, I heard a lot of that. Adams, Pepe, McKennie. Who's the guy?
Yeah,
you're
for
really
me, it's
looking for?
Weston.
Yeah.
Weston has to be the leader. He has to push this group forward. It's got to be him.
Anna?
I said it on Monday. You need Adams to perform, but McKennie is the star here, and the U.S. is going to live and die whether he can get in there and do both that defensive work, and carrying the ball, and making those chances.
I think it's got to be Pepe for me. Just the fact that we've only got one choice for striker on paper. It has to. I think if he scores tonight, it shows trust in him being the number one striker for us in the future. If not, we're back to the same page where like, is it DK? Is it PFOC? Is it Josh Sargent? We're sort of scrambling for answers again at that spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Pepe has to have a good game, especially to keep. You want to put a crooked number on this team if you want to win, of course.
I mean, how nice would it be to say, "Oh yeah, U.S. won, but only Mexicans scored."
Yeah.
There you go. Well, guys, I appreciate your time up here today. Everybody, please give a round of applause to my esteemed panel before we turn it over to our next group of guys. If I can have Jason, DJ, and then we got Todd coming up here. Guys, if you haven't yet, please make sure to head outside. Check out the Street Side Brewery if you can. They have quite a bit of selection out there. I think there's a great food truck out there as well. Yeah, Joe, my friends having some good fun. Got a bunch of beer specials out here at Rhinehaus this evening. Also, if you haven't yet, please get your free sample of Suero X. It's a great sponsor of our show. Make sure to rehydrate with the new Suero X, 0 sugar, 0 calories, and the power of 8 ions to speed up your recovery time. Keep your body hydrated and balanced. Helps replenish the 8 main ions that you lose during the day, especially on a day like today where we need as many ions as we can because we got about, 8 hours till kickoff. So we'll see how that goes. So please check out Suero X. And again, special thanks to Rhinehaus for having us out here tonight. All right, our next panel is, again, some legends here in Cincinnati soccer. But real quick, Jason, welcome to Cincinnati.
Welcome
moving back.
And honestly, this is my very first USA-Mexico match. So in all the years of living in Ohio, I never had the opportunity to go up to Columbus. So I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, and we got DJ here, who's, again, we mentioned him earlier, has been a big part of soccer culture here in the city. How we going?
Not too bad. How you guys doing?
Oh, baby, I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
Don't be too nervous. There's only a few people in the room.
Yeah, that's true. There you go. We appreciate y'all coming out here. And then we also have sitting with us is the president of AO Cincinnati, Todd Smith. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad. You survived last night.
I survived last night. I'm back again today.
Yeah,
Get at it. So.
Saw this guy throwing out Budweisers. Had to catch a couple last night. So that was a great time. What did you make of that event? I mean, it was so different than what I've experienced in other cities.
Yeah, I think it was a great night all around. I think the pitch did an awesome job preparing for us and having everything set up, and we just had an amazing crowd. There was people from all over the country that were there. It was a great atmosphere, a great time. Everyone was able to just kind of let loose and have some fun.
Mm-hmm. Now, what has your week been? For the past 2 weeks or month or whatever in the process?
Yeah, basically the last probably 6 weeks to 2 months has just been insanity. It seems like every day I'm trying to organize something, arranging calls, setting up, logistics for whatever we need in so many different facets. There's the night before party, there's the tailgate today, there's the march, there's the in stadium stuff, there's the tickets I'm coordinating. It's been a crazy couple months.
So Todd, I mean, AO brings a lot to the stadium. They bring the atmosphere. Yep. One of the things about TQL Stadium and the Cincinnati fans is the atmosphere that we bring. What can everybody else do to help you when it's finally time for kickoff tonight?
Yeah, you make a great point. The local SGs here in Cincinnati are very well organized, and they bring the ruckus, as the AO says. So I think the rest of the stadium just needs to feed off that tonight. We've got, I think, last count 18 or 19 drums. We've got 12 capos. We're going to be bringing the noise, so it'll be loud. If the rest of the stadium can just feed off that energy, can join in some of the chants, I think it'll make for just an absolutely amazing atmosphere.
Yeah. So talk through, the atmosphere itself. There's going to be a lot of build up to that, right?
Yeah.
Talk us through a little bit of the layout for the pregame festivities and the march, right? Because everything's kind of spread out a little bit.
Yeah. So that's one of the things we wanted to do when we first started talking about how to host this match was to get as many local restaurants and bars and other things involved as we could, right? So that's where we spread out the last night at the pitch. Today, the tailgate will be over at Northern Row. Rhinehaus has been a really nice, helpful with us. Taglio OTR has helped us with some specials as well. So one of the things we want to do is get a lot of different local restaurants and bars involved. But we'll be at Northern Row today for the official tailgate. I know Rhinehaus is doing a block party. There's a couple other places that are doing block parties. About 7 o'clock tonight, we'll leave from Northern Row on the march, take the usual FCC march route down to Washington Square, Washington Park. We'll gather up anyone else that wants to join, and then we'll round the corner and head up the main stairs at TQL.
Yeah, and if you've done or seen any of the marches here in town, that's a big element of our game days, and it's going to be really cool seeing that with a different set of colors this weekend.
I think that's one of the things that's interesting about having this game in Cincinnati, and you all talked about it on Cincinnati Soccer Talk, or on Wrong Side of the Pond, before, but like in Columbus, it's a fairgrounds. It's a parking lot. There is an actual tailgate. We're in downtown Cincinnati. I mean, you've got restaurants, bars where everybody's going to be like streaming out like ants, in time for the march. So that's going to be a great atmosphere tonight.
Yeah, we've had some questions about people that have asked about tailgating in a parking lot, and we don't have that here. So
exactly.
It's pushing those people to all the great options we have here and over the Rhine in downtown Cincinnati.
So what has been the most exciting thing that you've experienced or are looking forward to in this whole process?
I'll tell you that the one thing I'm looking forward to the most is the second half kickoff, because that's usually when I can relax and I can feel like my job is done. I'll be really nervous and just running around like a chicken with my head cut off until about the second half kickoff. But it's the amount of coordination and from how many different people are involved to pull off something like this is amazing. And it's everything from, like I said, all the local places to American Outlaws National to USS Soccer to all the stadium crew at TQL to ESPN to all the different medias. It's been crazy how many different people have their hands in these things to pull off such a huge event like this.
And AO has chapters all over the country. Kind of speak a little bit about that. Who do you know that's coming in and where are they coming from?
Yeah, so the funnest one, we got 2 guys that came in from Maui.
Wow.
They reached out a couple weeks ago to us on social media and said they were headed out. So I actually had a chance to meet them last night at the pitch. But really, we've got people from all over the country. I've heard from Washington, LA, Dallas, St. Louis, Minneapolis, Washington, D.C., Florida, pretty much everywhere. I think almost every state's going to be represented.
That's awesome.
I think we have quite a few groups that came out today to swap scarves and buy, sell scarves. Where can we find you guys to do that if I want to get an AO Cincy scarf later today?
Yeah, we'll be down at Northern Row. The bad news is that our AO Cincinnati scarves actually sold out last night. So we do have them available. Yeah, we do have them available on our online store. We placed a new order, but it'll be a couple weeks before we get them in. But we've got a couple other scarves you can get down there. We have a American Outlaws Ohio scarf with all the Ohio chapters on it. We've got a game day scarf with us in Columbus. It's got the 2 games on the scarf as well.
Yeah.
We've got T-shirts, we've got sweatshirts, we've got pins, we've got magnets, stickers. We've got all kinds of fun stuff, and we got some DJs wristbands that he's been generous enough to let us sell and give to some of our capitals and drummers. So
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna end this segment here with this question, and I'm gonna actually ask the same thing to DJ later. What does this game mean to you that it's here?
Yeah.
In Cincinnati, in your hometown, in the place you're, in
Yeah,
charge of.
you know what? I've been talking to a lot of different media outlets, and they all ask that same question, and I have the same answer for all of it. When you think of traditional soccer cities in America, there's a couple cities that come to mind, whether it be St. Louis, Seattle, Portland, whatever the case may be. I think Cincinnati is sort of the sleeping giant that nobody knows about. I'm not from here. I've only lived here about 2 years, and I had no idea walking in what I was walking into. I was on AO Phoenix for 5 or 6 years on the board down there, and we did everything ourselves. I mean, we had to do everything. The support, the amount of support and resources and everything else that have been here from all the different local supporter groups has just been amazing. And I think for us, for all of us, it's our chance to show off Cincinnati as a true soccer town.
Yeah.
And I think a stage like this, with everything that's coming up with potential World Cup hosting in 2026, I think this is our chance to say, hey, we are a premier destination for soccer in the United States. And I think so far we've done a great job, and I think we're just going to continue it through today, and it's going to be a great experience for everyone.
Awesome. Well, everybody, please give a great round of applause here to Todd. He's worked his rear end off over the past several months since this announcement. So thank you very much, my friend, and
thanks for having me.
Enjoy it tonight.
Yeah, I will. I will try. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, DJ and Jason as well. Guys, I guess, what is this game? I asked it to the guys earlier, and what does it mean that it's here for you guys, especially someone who's been involved, so long in getting soccer off the ground here?
Yeah, I mean, I heard you guys talking earlier about the Cincinnati Saints and like how long ago that feels. And you think back, it was only like 7 years ago that where TQL Stadium sits now, there was a high school football stadium that was significantly smaller than that. And the dream was always with the Saints to build that type of ground there and have this type of atmosphere. And it obviously didn't pan out the way that they had expected. And big thanks to Dave Satterwhite for all the energy he put in to make that happen as well. But it's awesome now to like turn around from the school that was built behind, and the view looking at the school is exactly the same as it was 6 years ago. And you do an about face in that parking lot now, and there is like this massive cathedral to soccer that didn't previously exist. And now we get to have not only like a game, every week or a couple weeks there, we have the premier event on the U.S. soccer like 4-year calendar. And we don't even know if we're going to get this type of match again in the future. So it really is like, I try not to get too hyperbolic about this, right? So many times over the last few years, we've been able to say like, I can't believe this is happening. And this is one that like, if you had told me, 10 years ago, like we'll have a pro soccer team here, I go, okay, I could see that. Like I could potentially see that. But USA, Mexico, no, like no way, especially with how entrenched it's been up in Columbus and how it seemed like something they wouldn't move it a little bit further south just for us. And that we're getting this type of event here, it's one of those pinch me things that like I honestly am blown away. And last night walking through the Todd and seeing what Todd put together for us, it blew my mind. Like it was honestly difficult to process for someone who's worked really hard over the last decade, 20 years to try to make this happen here. It's truly mind blowing.
Yeah, and this is dating myself here and also showing how big of a dork I am, but about 10 years ago, I put a post on the Big Soccer Forum asking, will Cincinnati ever get a MLS team? And I wrote out the reasons why not. And again, here we are 10 years later. Not only did we get a USL team that was a smash success, not only do we have this wonderful stadium, and I've been to a few MLS stadiums, and so far I think this is the best one that I've ever been to. But to have USA Mexico is something I agree that I never thought, having grown up around here, having played soccer around here, that I ever thought would happen. And so just to see all the people out here at Rhinehaus, see the people walking around the street with their USA colors on, is just mind-blowing. And I can't wait to, be in the stadium and see the TIFO go up, hear the national anthem, hopefully see some fireworks because I'm a dork for that. But it's amazing. I can't wait.
Well, we got another celebrity up here tonight, or today, this afternoon. I'm used to these being at 9 p.m. One of my favorite podcasts. I know we got quite a few listeners out there. We got Adam Bell's The Scuffed. How we doing, my man?
Thanks for having me.
Welcome on.
No, we are so happy to have you here. So as an outsider and coming into the city, what's it been like for you, coming in and just seeing everything so far?
Oh man, I love it. I love these old Ohio river towns, Lots of beautiful buildings, and the stadium looks beautiful. You guys were just talking about that. And I love how walkable this whole area is, and it's also close to the stadium. It's gonna be lit.
Yes, that it will be. What are you most, excited to see tonight?
I'm most excited to see Wes McKennie, Tyler Adams, and Yunus Musa humiliate Hector Herrera and Andres Guardado.
Humiliate.
I like it. So I kind of wanted to get you guys up here and talk a little bit of, just kind of put a bow on this show and throw some of our predictions and what you expect or hope to see out of this game. I know, the guys at Scuff, you had John Arnold this week and a great amount of shows. But from the on-the-field product, I guess, what's your predictions? What do you hope to see, Jason?
Of course, I'm hoping to see Dos Acero. I think that's what everybody's really hoping to see. It's interesting. I think we kind of talked about it before, though. While this match is very important, as far as the standings go, you can get away with a draw. No one wants to see that. So I'm hoping for a 2-1 win for the USA. But I don't really – it is USA-Mexico. It's going to get dirty. It's going to get rough. But at the end of the day, I think USA is going to come out and try to win one in front of the home fans.
DJ?
Yeah, I'm superstitious. I am really against making predictions. You'll know this if you listen to our podcast, All Wrong Side of the Pond. I still very clear of them. But what I am looking for out of this team is mentality, right? Mexico will come into this match undoubtedly with a chip on their shoulder based off of the last two results that they've come up against with us. And they're going to come into our house tonight and be dead set on finding all 3 points, right? It would make them like the happiest people on planet Earth to embarrass us on our own turf, right? And this is a big celebration match. They know that, right? They want to come in and ruin our party. That puts a big onus on the team to step up immediately today. And what I want them to do is set that precedent right out of the gates and make sure that they set the tone for the match so that Mexico aren't setting it and we're chasing it for the rest of the time.
You can't have a hiccup like they did up in Columbus to start the match. You've got to start strong.
Bells?
Maybe you guys talked about this already, but aren't they changing the way they do the chant at the beginning of the game?
I don't know. I haven't heard this.
No, so they were doing the Iceland chant for
Okay.
I don't know the
The
correct
Viking
term
clap?
for it. Yeah,
Viking clap,
Viking
yeah.
clap at kickoff. And so it was in Columbus. It was kind of weird in the stadium because it was like quiet and kind of confusing. And then all of a sudden, oh shit! Costa Rica scored a goal.
Yeah.
You know, and it was all very disorienting. And I guess Greg Berhalter had a talk with somebody at AO and somebody
Todd, what do you?
Right behind you.
Yeah, can you confirm this? Yeah.
Didn't Berhalter have a talk with somebody and we're not going to do the Viking clap at the beginning of the game?
It's going to be slightly different.
Yeah.
So slight variation of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we actually, so this is weird. We're doing a different variation of the I Believe chant. So it'll be a new, they spent 45 minutes reworking the I Believe chant.
All right.
All right, you heard it first.
Okay.
We're changing the Viking clap and we're changing I Believe. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Direct impact on the pitch, hopefully. as well.
Yeah, so hopefully not a goal in the opening minutes.
Oh, okay, well,
for
this is
Mexico.
a question I forgot to ask for you guys, okay? I felt when FC Cincinnati was in the U.S. Open Cup, we played New York, we played Chicago, Columbus, I felt like as a fan, like I had to cheer my ass off because I owed it to the guys. I mean, what are you guys bringing a little different level into this game since it is Mexico? It's such a big match.
I always give 100%
Yeah.
every time.
Well, you haven't had to put up with FC Cincinnati. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's pretty warm here. No, I will say one of the big things about matches up in Columbus, I've been to 4 of them up there, and the stadium has had a direct impact on the way the team has performed a lot of the times. And everyone knows the fans set a lot of the energy in how matches turn out a lot of the times. And it's going to be up to the fans to really energize and help set that mood early on as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty low key when it comes to matches. Most of the time, I just kind of sit there. I might, sass the ref a little bit, but I've already kind of given a warning to my wife, who is not a big sports fan, and she's coming with me tonight, that I'm going to be on my A game, and she may have to be a little bit embarrassed by my behavior in front of people.
So I'm ridiculous. I'm ridiculous at the games. I'm like, Weston, that was an incredible half turn. Like everybody around me is like,
just very specific cheering.
Did you see that Cruyff? What?
Yeah, or like, look at the run he made. He didn't even get the ball.
Oh, that's funny. Well, guys, again, if you haven't yet, please come up and get your free bottle of Suero X, get your CST koozie before we wrap up the show today. Please, make sure to get your favorite beers from Rhinehaus, street side, and the food trucks outside. Guys, let's I guess. Well, first off, you two, I'm gonna ask the two.
Can I give a prediction?
Sure, yeah, of course.
2-1 USA, like you said. Pepe and McKennie score.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm picking a high scoring. I think 3-2. I
Okay.
just think with the for USA, I just think the defense of Mexico is suspect, and I would say ours is kind of too. But.
Yeah.
All right, so real quick for you guys, DJ, you have Wrong Side of the Pond as well as Added Time. Can you tell people where to find you?
Yeah, so Wrong Side of the Pond is my long-running podcast with Jeremy Lance. We're at wrongsideofthepond.com, a weekly podcast that runs through the course of the European season. We take a little bit of a break in the summer. And then I also have Added Time Outfitters. You'll find us at addedtime.com. We're a wristband and lifestyle soccer company that focuses in on, we've got about 80 different teams we have designs for, and we incorporate in a match timeline from each team into the design of the wristband. And those are available at Northern Road today at the AO table. So definitely check those out there as well.
Awesome. And Bells, the trumpet, your intro.
Yeah. That's my intro
There you
instrument on GarageBand. Yeah, you can find Scuff Podcast on any platform. It's easy to find. Yeah.
It really is a great show. One of my favorites. I know I've talked to some of you and actually brought up earlier today, so go check it out. I think that episode you had with John Arnold earlier this week was
very knowledgeable guy.
Absolutely incredible. So we appreciate you guys so much. All right, guys. As we wrap up here, let's give our final thoughts and impart your wisdom or any tips you guys have for tonight. Let's start with you, Bells. Your final thoughts.
Yeah, I think you guys were talking about this earlier, but I just think it's all about that midfield battle. I think we have a good shot of controlling the game because of that matchup, and then we just can't make any mistakes at the back, which is that's true of every soccer game ever, but seems especially true tonight. And we can exploit their defense.
Yeah.
Hector Moreno's he's slow, he's a good player, but he's slow and he's getting old, and we gotta put pressure on those center backs.
Yeah, I talked earlier about mentality. Like I'm a player that always is thinking about the mindset that you find yourself in when I play, and I try to impart that when I coach as well. And I would imagine that's going to be Greg Berhalter's biggest message, right? Like he's not focused on the X's and Y's. There's going to be a lot of that obviously too, but he's really today like trying to juice up his team and get them into the right place that they need to be in order to perform at their best today. So we just have to do our part, right? We have to bring the energy and show what we can do in the stands, and hopefully that translates onto the field as well.
Same. I think its mindset is going to be huge tonight. I am looking forward for Pulisic to come in as a super sub around the 60th minute or so and hopefully score a goal.
Hold your breath.
Yeah. Hoping for. But at the same time, like DJ said, we got to bring it as fans. I mean, this is the biggest sporting event in the city of Cincinnati since probably the All-Star game a few years ago. And we're also bidding on a World Cup hosting rights. So who knows? Maybe this can skew that a little bit. But I'm looking forward to TQL just being rocking tonight. Bring your earplugs.
Yeah. I guess my final thoughts is to thank everybody who showed up here today. I appreciate you guys so much for coming on out here. Make sure to, if you want to swap your scarves or exchange scarves with some of your AO fans across the country, please do that. Please make sure to get out to Northern Row later for the pregame tailgate. Of course, Rhinehaus here is going to have the game on the screen outside. So if you don't have tickets, stay here. This is as I said, this is the premier soccer bar in the city. This is an absolute incredible place, and they're such a great partner. As another recommendation, they have a Restaurant Nation just down the road, so go check them out. They're running some specials today. So I appreciate you guys, and we look forward to 3 points and go USA. Thanks, guys.